This current slate of Xbox games does look good. Stuff like, specifically, I'm extremely excited for another Outer Worlds, and Avowed looks fantastic, but I think after these games are done, Xbox is just going to collapse.
Alright man, today we're gonna be covering Dreamcastguy yet again. Now we're covering Dreamcastguy because he made a video saying that Xbox is screwed because of Game Pass. And in this very same video, he defends the PlayStation equivalent of Game Pass by saying it's optional, completely forgetting that Game Pass is optional as well. I mean, this is just a terrible video. It genuinely baffles me how someone with 200,000 subscribers can upload a video as bad as this one. But without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump straight into this heap of dog shit.
What's up gamers, Dreamcastguy here, and today we're going to talk about Xbox because...
I'm sorry to cut him off so early, but the way this guy says Xbox always cracks me up. Xbox. Kinda reminds me of when DSP says content, but he says content. You know, this guy and DSP have something in common. Their content, or should I say content, is terrible.
The idea of Xbox as it currently exists is definitely doomed.
Yeah, and we totally haven't been hearing that for the past 11 years and literally nothing happened. I mean, it's like every fucking week one of you guys are uploading Xbox is dead. How many times can Xbox die? God damn.
The idea of cheap games, the idea of getting stuff in a cheap subscription model, I mean, that's all about to completely collapse.
I mean, do you have a source for that information? Who am I kidding, dude? We all know the source that Dreamcastguy likes to use for his videos.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
And if Game Pass were to truly die and there was no subscription service, and here in Canada I had to pay $100 for every single game, man, I'd gladly sail the 7 seas for my games. Also, I like how he's arguing that Game Pass is going to kill Xbox, but he doesn't say anything about PlayStation Plus, or whatever the PlayStation equivalent is for Game Pass.
I think after these games are done, Xbox is just going to collapse.
They just had a showcase where they showed off 16 games, and a lot of them look really good, but apparently they're about to collapse. Just because they're not doing as well as PlayStation when it comes to selling consoles doesn't mean they're gonna collapse.
And surprisingly, it is because of Xbox Game Pass.
Yep, that's right. Good deals kill gaming, according to Dreamcastguy.
I want to explain to you throughout this video why I believe that Xbox Game Pass is actually leading to the death of Xbox as a brand, and why it's coming so extremely soon.
You guys have said it's going to die soon, Xbox is gonna die soon for the past 10 years.
So yesterday, late last night, they announced that they are trying to change the way that Xbox Game Pass works. They're raising the cost of it by 25%, so it's way more expensive, and they're trying to make a new tier called Standard, which does not have Day 1 games. Now, a lot of Xbox fans are defending this, saying it's fake outrage, that nobody cares that it's more expensive, which is very strange to say because I think everybody's kind of broke.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are just Xbox fanboys, though. They'll just defend whatever Microsoft does, and obviously they want to defend their billion-dollar company. Fanboys plague every single platform. You know, they'll defend PlayStation when they do a price increase. They'll defend Xbox when they do a price increase. They'll defend Nintendo when they take away your online and sell it back to you. They'll defend Nintendo when they re-release 14-year-old games for $90. I had a motherfucker in the comment section the other day who said that Nintendo re-releasing Donkey Kong Country Returns for $100 here in Canada with no way to play the original with backwards compatibility was a blessing. Fanboys will just defend whatever their favorite billion-dollar company does, doesn't matter how anti-consumer it is.
The funniest part about this, though, is that I have seen a lot of Xbox people saying, okay, well, PlayStation Plus is also getting more expensive and nobody's talking about that. Well, this is funny for two reasons. First off, yeah, this sucks as well. I talked about it. I've made multiple videos about the PlayStation Plus price increase because A, PlayStation Plus was already too expensive. Now it's even more expensive. And B, it's funny when people say no one's talking about this, when in fact, this is an article of people talking about this. But
you realize when people say nobody's talking about this, they don't mean literally nobody. They mean not enough people in their opinion.
I do think it's funny that the difference is the fact that Sony has always said that PlayStation Plus Premium or any tier of PlayStation Plus is in fact optional.
I find it very funny that he points out that PlayStation Plus is optional, which isn't wrong, it is optional. But there's no mention that Xbox Game Pass is also optional. It's like if he mentioned that Game Pass was also optional, it would destroy the narrative that he's trying to paint that you have to use Game Pass to get games and you can't buy games individually.
You know, you're still going to have to buy your games. They're not, saying day and date. They're not giving you any sort of discount. The idea has always been that you buy the games you want to buy on PlayStation, which is why they actually make money, but
yeah, apparently Xbox nowadays just doesn't make any money because they have Game Pass and game sales. You know, fun fact, I don't buy any games at full price anymore because I find most games nowadays just aren't that great. There's some gems out there like Elden Ring, but most games I just don't think are worthy of full price, so I will only buy games on sale. So in that case, Xbox is getting my money, or Steam, and PlayStation is not getting my money.
More on that in a bit. And then the other part of it is the fact that PlayStation Plus is just for cloud saves. If you want their indies and stuff like that for PlayStation Plus Extra, this has always been an optional service. Whereas when it comes to Game Pass, for Microsoft, they essentially imply that this is mandatory,
Nowhere does Microsoft imply that using Game Pass is mandatory to play new games. You can still buy these games just like you would any other game. Game Pass is simply an option if you'd rather go that route or you can't afford the game.
Do you want these games? Play day one with Game Pass, when what they actually mean now is get a Game Pass Ultimate or you don't get anything.
Yes, Xbox has a subscription service that gives you absolutely nothing.
Now, a lot of people are basically pointing out the fact that it is weird that they're calling this Game Pass Standard when it doesn't actually have day one games. I think that they're changing the status quo. I think very soon they're going to start to make it so that you're supposed to think about you buying Xbox games because they definitely need your cash. And then there's the separate, much more expensive tier if you want the Game Pass Ultimate Day 1 games. It's currently $20 here in America. It's going to be $23 in Canada. I think Game Pass Ultimate is going to go up to $30 pretty soon after this.
I'd say the highest Game Pass would go up to is $25, because if it goes all the way up to $30, I'm going to have to tap out, man. Like, it has access to some great games and all, but I'm not paying $30 a month. If Game Pass goes up to $30 a month, I'm gonna put on my eye patch and my pirate hat and get ready to sail the seven seas. Piracy bad, the billion... Shut the fuck up.
So, the weirdest part about this is that the confusion of this. A lot of people, even Xbox journalists like Tom Warren here, are essentially saying, okay, this is confusing. And honestly, I've talked about this in previous videos. I think confusion is the death of any brand. The fact that you start to have multiple tiers, different payment methods.
Oh, you mean that exact same thing that the PlayStation has? And it's not Xbox's fault that people are too stupid to read through and understand the different tiers.
The fact that there's something called Xbox Core, Xbox Console, Xbox Standard, Xbox Live, Xbox Gold, Xbox Game Pass, Ultimate, Console, PC. Okay, my point is the fact that if you're a normie, like you guys, y'all are hardcore gamers.
That has to be the cringiest thing I've ever heard in my life. You guys are hardcore gamers, dude. Every time someone refers to themselves as a hardcore gamer, I can just picture some guy wearing a Call of Duty t-shirt with ketchup stains on it. They got a room as messy as Asmongold's. There's like roaches and shit jumping around. There's like 15 opened things of Baja Blast. Like, okay, I'm getting off topic. The moral of the story is saying you're a hardcore gamer is kind of cringy.
You're sitting here watching a video of me talking about video game price points. We're probably the most hardcore of hardcore demographics, but
I mean, checking the comments, it looks like everyone who stopped by to watch your video was just clowning on it. You can try to act neutral all you want, but everyone already knows that you simp for PlayStation.
The thing is that normal people are not going to understand this. If you're standing at a shelf and you're like, okay, do I want to buy the PlayStation 5 or do I want to buy the Xbox Series X? These are the same cost. Which one to me seems more simple? I'm just some boomer who's trying to get into video games. They're probably going to choose the system that's pretty dang straightforward.
This has to be one of the worst arguments I've ever heard in my life. So apparently it'd be better to pick the PlayStation because a boomer might be too stupid to understand the options available on Xbox. He's literally arguing that more options is a bad thing. In what world can more options be bad? Besides an easy mode for Elden Ring, of course.
Where it's a console, it's got controllers, it's got games.
Well, no fucking shit.
The games are on a physical shelf. A lot of Xbox games now are digital only. I think pretty much everybody, and this is reflected in the sales. Right now, the PS5 is completely crushing the Xbox in raw sales numbers. I did a video about that 2 days ago. And beyond that, I think it's just because, honestly, it's easier. But the funny thing is that as soon as you start making charts to explain which features you get, you've lost.
That is literally one of the easiest to understand charts in the world. How can you not understand that? It's so straightforward. It's a chart, and there's a little check next to what you get with each tier. All you gotta do is look at the tier you're interested in, and look at the checks next to that tier to see what you'd get with that tier. It's not that complicated.
This is so ridiculous, the fact that they're... Okay.
Am I actually watching a video right now of a man who looks like he's in his 30s or 40s just not be able to comprehend the idea of a chart?
Beyond even that, though, let's talk about the fact that this price increase, I think, is going to make more people want to switch to either PC gaming, Nintendo Switch gaming, or PlayStation gaming.
I don't think anyone concerned about price will be switching over to the Nintendo Switch, where every single game is pretty much always full price and there's barely ever sales. No, I'm not saying the games are bad, but they don't go on sale very often. You're not getting no deal like Game Pass on the Switch.
Even if you have been enjoying the Xbox ecosystem, they keep increasing the costs for the features you already have.
Yes, that is the unfortunate reality of the video game industry at the moment. Prices for services keep going up and up and up.
You do not own your Xbox games. You're renting them. You're paying a subscription fee to have access to them.
Well, no fucking shit.
That's kind of the entire point of a subscription service. You subscribe to the service, and while you are subscribed to that service and paying for that service, you get access to those services. When you decide that you no longer need that service, you can stop paying the monthly fee and you lose access to it. Now, there's a lot of idiots out there that'll say, well, you don't own the games, you don't own the games. That's true. When you have the subscription service, you don't own the games because you're subscribing to a service to get access to them. However, you can still go ahead and buy the game outside the service and own it. Well, kind of. You don't really own games even that you buy nowadays, but you know what I mean. Anyway, continue with whatever the fuck you were saying, Dreamcastguy.
The same way that you don't own the shows you're watching on Paramount Plus, or, I'm super obsessed with House of the Dragon, the new Game of Thrones show. That is not something I own.
Why would you ever want to own a TV show or a movie, unless you really, really, really like that movie? Why would you want to own TV shows or movies anyway? Because, you watch a show once and then you don't really watch it again after because you already know what happens. Whatever, dude.
When Xbox Series X came out, it was £100. to get Xbox Game Pass for an entire year. Now that same library of games is, oh my god, now the same library and access to day one stuff is forced into the highest tier at £180 a year. I'd rather just buy my games.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. The fact that the price went up that much, if that's true, like I don't know the actual numbers, but if that's true, that's a massive L. However, like saying I'd rather buy the games, I don't know about that, dude. You'd maybe get 3 games out of the price of Game Pass for a year.
I think this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to trick you into actually buying stuff. A lot of people are basically bringing this up.
So apparently them having Game Pass as another option to play video games is them trying to trick you. And the reason they're increasing the price is very simple. They want money.
It is weird to think about. I want to look at some tweets here by Paul Tassi because this is an interesting one. The amount of people that are defending this, the weirdest Xbox defenses I've seen is everybody knew this was going to get more expensive, so it's not a big deal.
I think people defending it is kind of pathetic. I don't think people should be defending a price increase for a service. Come on now. But to act like we didn't see this coming is also extremely pathetic because, we got announcements that all these cool games that were showed at the Xbox Showcase were going to be in Game Pass. I think we could all expect a price hike.
That to me is weird because, aren't you still upset that they're gouging you? You already were playing these games and now they're charging you more without giving you extra games.
I am kind of upset that I have to pay more for the service, but at this point in the video game industry, I'm so used to it that I don't even feel anything anymore, dude.
There has not been a lot of Xbox exclusives. That's not even a bag. There's just not a lot of them. There's not a lot of PlayStation exclusives either. Only Nintendo is truly killing it when it comes to exclusives.
This is what I don't understand about fanboys, man. I care if there's good games in Game Pass, right? I don't give a fuck if those games are exclusive or not, or people on PlayStation, Nintendo, or PC can play those games. I just want to play games. I don't give a fuck, oh my god, this other person on another plastic box can't play them. Why would I care? The only reason fanboys care about exclusives is because it gives them something to argue about so they can drum up some engagement.
But with PlayStation, you buy the ones you want, you skip the ones you don't.
And that's different for Xbox how? You can buy the games you want on Xbox and skip the ones you don't. Or you can use Game Pass to play those games. On PlayStation, you can buy the games you want, skip the ones you don't, or use the PlayStation version of Game Pass to play that game. How is it any different?
I didn't really like Starfield that much.
Oh, trust me, Dreamcastguy, we know. You were hating on that game before it even came out, and then you put countless more videos out, trashing on the game. I thought the game was mediocre, to be honest. It definitely had a lot of problems, but I actually waited for the game to come out before I gave judgment on it. I remember you put out a video a week or two before Starfield came out saying nobody cares about Starfield. It's very clear that you'll just take any opportunity you can to shit on Xbox so you can get some easy money, and you even admitted to grifting on Twitter a while ago.
I gave it a 7 out of 10, but a lot of people subscribed to Game Pass specifically for that. It is weird to think about. You lose access to it even if you've beaten it and loved it as soon as you stop paying.
I don't know if you know this or not, Dreamcastguy, but most people only play through a game once. They'll play through that game, say, alright, that was cool, and then move on and never really play it again. That's how the majority of people are for games. So a lot of people subscribed to Game Pass when Starfield came out, played through it, said, alright, that was fun, or that was mediocre, or that was bad, and they moved on and stopped subscribing to Game Pass because they didn't want to play it anymore.
The weirdest thing is the amount of Xbox people that are acting like this isn't a big deal, or even people trying to say that, oh, people are just overreacting. I have seen a lot of people also bring up the fact, I'm trying to scroll down carefully, there is a picture of a bunch of Xbox YouTubers riding some male genitalia. I'm going to crop it here so you don't accidentally see it.
Originally I was gonna cut this out of the video, but I decided to leave it in because it just shows the creativity of the gaming community. I don't think there's any other community out in the world that would take time out of their day to find some YouTubers and Photoshop them riding some male genitalia.
But people are pointing out that literally just last year, Xbox said they're not going to increase the price of Game Pass.
Now, I'm pretty sure at the time they said they wouldn't increase the price as a result of the Activision acquisition, and I don't think that's the reason they're increasing the price right now. I think they're increasing the price because of the recent Xbox showcase and all the games that are going to be in Game Pass, but either way, they shouldn't have said that and then went ahead and increased the price, so yeah, L for that.
This is the deal. I think that Game Pass has done irreparable harm to the way players perceive Xbox and Microsoft.
If anything, it's the opposite. Like, I viewed them a lot more positively after they provided us a way to play games without having to spend $70 to $80 on every single release.
And I think this tweet is great. Liam here is 1000% correct. If you look at the sales of anything on Xbox, they are flatlined. Xbox Game Pass has completely tanked that people buy first-party things or basically third-party things. Everybody says, I'll wait to buy it on Game Pass.
And this is a problem how? Just because the games aren't getting as many sales doesn't mean they aren't making money. They're making money through Game Pass. Like, when a developer puts their game on Game Pass, they're getting paid for it still. The truth is, most games nowadays, even if they're really good, are not worth $70. Most games that come out nowadays are worth at most like $30 to $40 when you actually look at them, but they're costing $70+. In Canada, $100 sometimes when you add taxes onto it. I'm sorry, but like, most grown adults don't want to spend $100 on a fucking video game. And Game Pass is a great option for those of us who don't want to spend $100 on a video game that's at most worth maybe $30.
If you're an indie developer and you're trying to make something and it's costing you even a low budget, say hundreds of thousands of dollars, you and your friends are making a game for years, okay, you can put it on Nintendo Switch, that'll sell a decent amount. Nintendo Switch, actually, the attach rate, people buy a ton of games on Nintendo Switch. If you could put it on PlayStation, it's already got 60 million PlayStation 5s, that's tons of people that might pick it up. Put it on PC, that's hundreds of millions of people that might pick it up. If you put it on Xbox, there are numbers. There are leaked numbers and official numbers that stuff just does not sell on average on Xbox at all, because they keep waiting. Okay, I'm already paying $20 a month for Game Pass. Let me wait for it to come to Game Pass.
You know, why don't they go ahead and put it on every single platform and put it in Game Pass? Therefore, you can get the sales from PlayStation, you can get the sales from the Switch, you can get sales from the PC, you can get sales from Xbox, and you can get the money for putting it on Game Pass. Also, if games don't sell on Xbox because people can get the games in Game Pass, then how come those games apparently sell on PC even though PC also has Game Pass?
Here's the big difference. I have tons and tons and tons of actual Nintendo games, right? Okay, I buy first-party Nintendo games. A lot of times I'll even buy them digitally and physically. Like, I'm super obsessed with one of my favorite Zeldas of all time growing up was Link's Awakening.
Yeah, and you are definitely the exception here, dude. A lot of people don't even have the money to buy one $70 video game. Forget buying the same fucking game twice. And I'm not trying to pocket watch you here. If you want to go ahead and buy the same game twice, then go ahead, man. I bought Doom Eternal twice.
So I bought it digitally and physically. Same thing. I have a huge collection. I have hundreds of PS4 and PS5 games. This is like 1/5 of my PlayStation 5 collection. My point here is the fact that, like, I'm not trying to brag, it's that people buy games on those consoles.
Ah yes, because people on Xbox simply do not buy games, despite the fact that I have a pile of games, probably bigger than the one he showed there of his PlayStation games, worth of Xbox games. And some of the games that I own in my pile of games are on Game Pass, but I just enjoy owning them. It's almost like not everyone is you, and just because you don't buy games on Xbox doesn't mean that other people don't. But the truth is, Xbox Game Pass is just a good fucking deal, so of course people are going to use it.
A lot of people are pointing out the fact that this is an overly complicated overhaul, And all of this is just going to be bad.
I don't think it's confusing or anything like that, or complicated, but I think it's unnecessary. I think the overhaul of Game Pass, what they're doing, is unnecessary, but it's not going to lead to the death of Xbox like you like to claim.
I decided to go to the Xbox subreddit last night and
Alright, yep, we're done. He's a Redditor. Yeah, we're done with this video. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Oh, I see you're still watching the video, huh? Whoever has the pinned comment smells like wet dog.